Good afternoon, my name is Alan Robertson and I'm with AirlineTV.net and we're at the 2007 Abbotsford International Airshow. This is Sunday, August the 12th, and with me I have Bob Brown, who is the Area Air Deputy for the Civil Air Search and Rescue Association. Hi Bob.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for spending some time with us. Can you tell us a little bit about your organisation?
Well, in the southwest zone, we're about 100 strong. The CASARA organization is actually Canada-wide, but in our southwest zone, which is where we are now, there's about 100 of us, and we meet in Boundary Bay as well as Abbotsford at the Flying Club here. And our responsibility, basically, if an aircraft or a hiker or a boater, whoever goes missing, we'll be informed by the Joint Rescue Coordination Center and assigned to take it as a tasking. And when we take that tasking, if it's an aircraft, we'll do a search grid and assign aircraft to that search grid, and those grids will be searched by our members. Usually after a couple of days, the military takes over if it's not successful at that point, and sometimes they'll redo the search grid. But a number of us are trained to fly with them as spotters in their aircraft, and otherwise we basically augment the search assets. And so we'll have military airplanes searching, and we'll have our aircraft searching. And the difference between them and us is that you can put a lot of people in a Buffalo or a Cormorant helicopter, and we'll rotate through the spotting windows with the military spotters. And with us, such as the aircraft behind us, the Cessna 172, we'll have a couple of spotters left, right in the back seat, a navigator and a pilot, and that's it.
Now, we're actually in Abbotsford, BC. Does this cover Canada-wide or just BC on its own?
CASARA is a Canada-wide organization. And we're very happy about that. As I say, in this particular zone, I couldn't begin to estimate the number of members nationally, but in the southwest zone, there's about 100 of us, and it's strictly volunteer. Some of us are retired airline pilots, some of us are private pilots. I don't fly myself, I fly as a navigator, but I'm not a pilot. And it's a very well-run volunteer organization.
And what type of aircraft do you use on your duties?
Usually Cessna 182s, 172s, a couple of people have 206s, but they're small single-engine aircraft, and they're high-wing because you need a spotting platform where your spotters can look out the window and see the ground and not be trying to see past the wing. So they're a high-winged aircraft.
What would be a typical call-out for you?
A typical call-out as far as the tasking is concerned? Yeah. We'd be told that an aircraft on a flight from, say, Springbank to Boundary Bay was missing. It was due in at a particular time and it's overdue. They would have done a ramp check at all the airports that would be on the flight route and come up empty, so that means that he's not on the ground as far as we know, at least not at an airport. So the search would then be begun. And in some cases, if they haven't talked to anybody from the point of departure to the point of their destination, the entire flight route becomes the search area. We had one from the Clearwater area down to Abbotsford, and because the gentleman involved in that one hadn't spoken with anyone between there and here, we had the entire search area as the flight route, and there was some 86,000 square miles involved with that one. And so it becomes a little arduous, and that's why you are very happy to have your volunteers on board.
And what areas do you actually cover? I mean, you specifically, because I know you're from Chilliwack.
Yes.
Do you overlap other areas too, like Abbotsford, Vancouver Island?
Yes, we do. There is a Vancouver Island CASARA group. We have helped them on occasion. They have had members down here helping us. We've had people from the middle of BC out here helping us on searches. It depends on how long the search goes, how large a search area you're covering, but there are always volunteers available, and you have to worry about that, because if you're up there spotting for a couple of hours and you come back down, it's a little tough on the eyes. It's not just a matter of looking out the window at the pretty scenery. You're scanning for a lost airplane, and so you're looking fairly intently. So after a couple of days, you want to give that spotter a rest and move in a different spotter, because otherwise you're going to burn them out. And so that's why we have people from other areas coming in to assist, or we will assist them.
Now, what about it in dark conditions or nighttime conditions? Do you use any special equipment to search for people?
We don't fly at night. We have flown at night looking for hikers or looking for an ELT, an emergency locator transmitter, but we don't actually search at night.
Now, if somebody was interested in becoming a volunteer, how would they approach you? What qualifications or experience do they need?
Anyone who's reasonably physically fit, who is over 19 years of age, would be welcome at any of our training exercises. They could come in and learn a little about what we do, decide if it's for them or not. They would probably come on board as a spotter, And if they had whatever it takes to become a navigator, they could become a navigator. If they have a pilot's license and 250 hours, we would consider them as a search pilot, especially if they had their own airplane, but not necessarily. The more the merrier, really. And it's useful because some people can't make every training exercise. Some people can't get out every day on a major search. And so the biggest problem sometimes is your base. And so if you've got a nice broad base, you're pretty much guaranteed to have the spotters you need. And again, the demographic. We have young people who are maybe in their early 20s. We have people who are retired, so they're in their 60s perhaps. But we welcome them all, as long as they're interested.
Well, any organisation that uses volunteers is highly commended. Thanks for spending your time with us. And anything else you'd like to say about your organisation?
Anyone who's interested in CASARA could contact, they could look at the website, actually, CASARA.com. They could contact our zone commander in Richmond, Tom Fisher. They could stop by our booth at the Abbotsford Airshow. They could come out to Boundary Bay or Abbotsford. Abbotsford meets the second Saturday of every month, and Boundary Bay the third Sunday of every month, and we'd be more than happy to talk to them.
Okay, Bob, appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you for talking to us.